So good afternoon. I see the collaboration between CFOs and CIOs, right? So how many of you are CFOs? Good, 3. Oh, only you and me. Huh? Yeah. So the demand of this discussion is like that. There should be a good collaboration to success of any digital mastery, right? And wherein the CIO's role is also evolving, and it is no more restricted to the technology itself, right? But it's more into the business side, more into the functional side, right? So straight away, let's have the discussion to start, right? Shreyas should come to you. How do you see the role of CIOs and CFOs evolving in today's digital age, right? Particularly in terms of strategic alignment of goals, right?
So I've had the fortune of working with many CIOs and working in a lot of German companies, large multinationals, where board roles are few, so the CIO role ends up rolling into one of the board members. So I've also had the fortune of working together very closely with a CIO, multiple rollouts of ERPs and and I claim myself to be as a tech adopter, right? I think in today's day and age where if you are not ahead of the race, and the products of course you have fantastic products, you have new products every day that are coming in and coming out, and a lot of the CIO I think requirement is taken out there. But I have found a large synergy in working with the CIO in ensuring that the back office is also cutting edge technology, because I believe that a one-winged bird cannot fly, right? The product side, the sales side, the tech side flies very well, but if the back office starts dragging it down, it can only fly a certain distance. So I believe that a close synergy with the CIO is needed to ensure that the tech develops on the finance side as well, on the HR side as well, and all the back office side. So I have had the fortune of working with CIOs very, very closely, and I believe it is very, very critical, not only on the business front, of course, because today it's not an option to stay old style. Mercedes stayed away from CarPlay and Android integration for many, many years, but eventually they had to give in, and now they are trying to lead in that space. So it's very clear, traditional companies do exist, but if they don't adapt, they will probably not survive and do well as they did in the past 100 years, 200 years even. So I find that it is critical that we work together for the business, but I also find it is very, very critical that we work with the CIOs very closely for the back office as well. Otherwise, we will end up hiring 20, 30, 50 more people, which is not ideal, because the strength should go to the business to grow, but we cannot have suboptimal services which are not good enough for the organization anymore. A cutting edge organization like Tata Electronics would need, if the customer calls, so we are a supplier to, or we were a supplier to Tata Electronics, so if a customer calls, a vendor calls, they would need the information on their fingertips. They cannot say reconciliation, I'll give it to you after 3 weeks. That cannot be done, right? That doesn't fit the image. And today a lot of vendors are also customers. So, you end up having bad experiences. So I believe unless we work together, it is not in the best interest of the organization.
So basically you try to say that, okay, there should be a very good collaboration, and the CIOs has a very, very comprehensive look of both the back office and the stakeholders' requirement, understanding and finding out the best suited technology to actually roll out, and that is very important that, okay, the information should be available everywhere and handy to the people, right? Good. Coming to Bhupen, can you share the example of successful collaborations, right, between CIOs and CFOs in integrating financial expertise with technological solutions, right? and drive the business outcomes, right?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So, being a healthcare industry, so we service industry, we serve the patients. So, patient is our customer. Like the solution which we are selecting, that can be for internal users or external user, like that. So, first that category we have to identify to make our CFO comfortable, like it is for the internal user or external user. Then we come to, if it is for external user, means our patients, then how it's going to convert end of the day for the kind of ROI, or we can say we can give the better experience for the patient. So we can serve more patient in the organization. So that three category we always discuss with the CFO, like it's for the patient experience, or it's for the ROI, or it's for the performance increase of the internal user. So once those things are clear, so CFO also on the clear picture, means from this IT enablement, they'll get the some extra revenue, or we're going to treat more patient, or it's a performance increase. So that much this clarity is there between the CIO and CFO. And then these days, I think earlier, if I talk about 1 decade ago, the CFO and CIO, there is no much collaboration. And then these days, even organizations made the curriculum also, like CFO is reading the IT things, and IT person also reading the financial things. So those give the clarity on the job which we have to carry it out in our organization, and then both the heads in the organization coming together and making successful for this. So I'm coming to the example, like in healthcare, we implemented EMR. So EMR, just it's a electronic prescription which doctor is prescribing during your conversation, patient and doctor. So what is benefits going to happen, we make the CFO understand. If CFO is little bit awareness, having the technology, very it's grab the so fast. So what happened, like doctor prescribing in the EMR, that medicine or advising for admission or some test, earlier he's writing on the paper, and then patient taking paper out, going out from the room, and then doesn't know where he have to approach. Sometime billing counter, sometime other hospital or some other pharmacy. But immediately once doctor prescribe in the computer system, we call EMR, electronic medical record, immediately that information goes to right person. Means if medicine he prescribed, it's going to pharmacy. If he prescribed lab test, then it's going to billing desk for the laboratory billing desk. If he's prescribing like admission, it is going to admission desk. So all those things going to right stakeholder. Immediately they call or coordinate with the patient, and patient also getting better experience. He's not roaming here and there, or not going outside the hospital, and getting treated on time. So those conversion is coming in the form of RI to the hospital, and patient also getting better experience. So if we show those things to the CFO, yes, CFO also agreed, and then coming together to enable the technology in the organization. So one of the example I shared this.
Have you experienced your CFO expertise, right, into this particular activity or the entire project you have handled, right? Can you tell us that, okay, where you have utilized the CFO's expertise into this integration?
Yeah, like our core area is technology, and their core area is the financial thing, management of financial thing. So we don't have up to that much level of gravity, we can say. I worked in previous organization where traditional CFOs are there. So very difficult to convince them. Now the new generation or new CIO, though who understand technology so easily, so we can convince them, and in like EMR solution, which we presented, then the CFO immediately asked, how you are going to calculate that revenue? Then we said the conversion rate till now and conversion rate after implementation of the solution, we can provide you that data. He said that that's fine for calculation of that. So that understanding is there. So CFO also understanding technology, CIO also little bit understanding the financial impact, because every activity in organization lending into the commercial things.
I think today's CFOs have a very outwardly look even towards sales and business, because I code in Python, for example. So, and I did not start off as somebody who can code. But going back to his experience, since I also work for a hospital, I think what he said, the conversion rates, right? The time to wait for the next step is much longer without a good EMR, which circulates. And I understand that if the same doctor can see 10 patients more per day, right, the revenue for the hospital is much higher. So that's how I would look at it. And that's how we would calculate, saying today we see 100 patients per doctor. Tomorrow, I mean, just as a random example, tomorrow we'll see 110 patients per doctor, which will give us the payback in 3 years or 5 years or whatever be the case. But also, it leads to very good patient experience, who will also refer more people. And this also brings in more patients. So I think it's a much larger circle than we expect it to be. And I think all CFOs have to see it from multiple perspectives rather than just as a ROI or just as an expense.
True. See, it's a very important that your CFO should participate completely or 100% into your any technological solution implementation right from the beginning itself, right? There are many instances happens wherein even the big solution providers, they want to meet CFO. The idea is not to just bypass CIOs, but there are something which is more into this, which they want to drag from CFO to bundle you the best solution, right? I would like to go with the audience that, okay, how many of you encountered such a situations wherein your solution provider or your technological implementing partner, they want to sit with your CFO just for a moment or for the final decision making into this. Anybody has this experience with you? And the second one is that, okay, can you tell us that, okay, why they required this one? Because I see that, okay, some of solution providers also sitting here, right? So what is the theme behind this? Is it that, okay, they want to bypass CIOs and conclude their deal with CFO or something more? I just want to know something more that, okay, what is in their mind?
CFOs generally, money is the king, right? So CFO generally sit on the budget. Okay, I'll say loudly. Thank you. They sit on the budget. The final approval is with them. Whether I am CIO, CTO, anyone, ultimately the final billing has to go with the CFOs. So in earlier conversation with the vendor or with the tech provider, what happens? Okay, we discuss, we kind of crack a deal and everything, but ultimately it boils down to, okay, I need to go for the budget approval. So that is always there in any discussion out there, right from inception till it's actually finalized, okay, we are going with this solution or with this tool or with this software. But there is always something is pending, which is final budget approval or final approval. So that's where the CFO comes. So probably the partner would like to get the feel that, okay, is CFO ready to invest that kind of money? Is CFO okay, or after like 1 month of all the hardship and all the work, and then there will be reaction because probably the company cannot afford that much of money. So upfront they want to get the feel from the CFO, are you guys acute enough to purchase, to sanction this much of money for this solution, tool or software? That's my take.
Good. Yes, give him a big hand. At least almost 95% he has a correct idea about that.
Dharmender,
right?
maybe beyond money and budget, where CFO also bring in something like, for example, whether the software provides for audit trail, whether the software meets the country legislation requirements, These are all also there. Of course, one of the biggest task of a CFO is also to see the investment budget and ROI. No doubt about it. You cannot implement SAP in a very small company where it cannot afford, or you have to integrate. So those kind of inputs will definitely come from CFO. Budget definitely yes, because the vendor doesn't want to go back empty-handed without the deal being signed. So he wants to involve the decision makers at the finance level. But at the same time, today there are other aspects of business applications other than the technology that CIOs leverage. There are aspects like, for example, the data is stored in the country. Madam Shreyas will also, a lot of discussion happened in our forums. A lot of whether the data is stored in the country, whether the confidential laws are being met, whether if it is a European company, me and I worked with Bosch for 15 years and Shreyas was working for Colzais, GDPR, whether it meets GDPR requirements. These kind of, whether it meets Government of India new guidelines, whether CARO requirements, audit guidelines, audit trials, all these are also there. Of course, one biggest task of a CFO is always to look at the budget, money, cash inflow, outflow, investment, ROI. This is definitely our task and our role. But at the same time, there are other aspects for which CFOs probably their collaboration has been sought in this decision-making process. And for CIO, CFO is a very good teammate to help him take the decision.
Good, true. CFO has a complete plan of that particular technical disruption which is going to be happen for that particular organization. He has the mitigation plan also, whether that technology surpass the budget, whether there is some different integration or some different middleware which is required to complete this particular digital disruption. He has the complete hold of that, right? And for that purpose itself, most of the technical partners, they want to come meet the CFOs and understand that, okay, how it is and where I actually able to meet up the requirement of this particular organization or not, right? So both are correct itself. Okay, fine. Then coming to the next one, I would like Raja to answer on this, right? How do you, data-driven initiative, right, led by CIOs and CFOs, contribute to informed decision making, right? Risk management and performance optimization within your organization.
Sure. So, good afternoon to everyone. So basically, before I take your question, I just wanted to give a brief how an IT is more involved inside the finance system or finance landscape is what just wanted to give a small brief about it. Then I'll take your question. See, basically, we are out of our traditional, finance or accounting landscape, right? Everything right now is technology, right? Right from, I can say, the automations, daily routine tasks are getting automated, which helps our accounting systems for the more into accuracies. And further, there are cloud-based accounting systems which has come in. So that is moreover, I can talk about the blockchain transactions. So which again gives the accuracies into more data-driven system. Further, we have mobile accounting. We also use AI technologies in tax plannings, right? This is where the finance and IT are getting collaborated on a profile based, right? And the all kind of security, enhanced security concerns are there. And more importantly, to answer your question, yes. It is, we always follow the MIS system, right? Which is coming from the information technology, which is the output of our IT and the ERP and other things. So today, it was not like in olden days, we have to collaborate, we have to, draw the charts in the papers and all those things. If I have a meeting at, say, 10 o'clock, I can start a report at 9 o'clock and end it and show to the management. So that is the process oriented, systems which is getting captured inside the data driven technology. And moreover, yes, definitely this helps into a lot of ways, like, right, for example, if I want to see the profitability analysis, or I want to see the product analysis, or profitability of the products, or anything which is related to numbers, right? It is just I can get in, just touch of button, report can be extracted. So this is one of the greatest advantage in the data driven process. And of course, we can talk about what do you say, biased algorithms and all. Yes, we have certain things which we should ensure that, because it's a technology. It's like, garbage in, garbage out, right? So we should ensure that, that kind of review is in place on overall level. But definitely, it ensures to give all kind of data, and which is affecting our decision making. This is one of the key factor which I look into. So that is how it is.
So these all data, what which is handed to you, where do you think improvement in your top line or bottom line?
So see, basically, it is an efficiency in the improvement of the process. As I told, every process is automated, no manual driven process, right? That gives the accuracy, and that gives the informed decision making capabilities, right? Nothing is manual, so that I know what is the I'm into defense and aerospace technologies. To manufacture an electronic component or any kind of an assembly which is have to make, there are timesheets which can capture, right? And this is more like an automated process. When you start your assembly in the line, you start your assembly and end your FG, then it will capture the time which is taken to assemble it, right? So that gives us lot of confidence in terms of the budgets, right? In terms of seeing the vision of a company and what is the growth and how it can be moved forward. And of course, I agree with you this one, right? Definitely it improves efficiencies.
So basically, you are talking about the improvement qualitatively, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
If I
You
can
have
quickly
something,
put
yes.
in a word, I think the insights that we get, not just from data we have always had, I think, for IT has been robust with data for many years. What we did with data and how many sources of data we have, how can we bring it together today was the challenge, which is also largely solved. The insights we can get to lead our business, which region is doing better for us, where we need to focus to increase the revenue, which cost center is struggling, is it travel, is it rentals, should we cut down on our floor space in. So all these insights comes from data. And having a single source of truth and having good analysis out of that data also helps in making decisions, so that we don't make intuitive decisions but more data-oriented decisions. That will help both the top line, bottom line, and also help the employee get a better experience, customers get a better experience out of what we do.
So it is not that the entire data actually working out for you, rather than it's a demand-based data which is actually more helping you out into improving your decision-making process, right?
Yeah, more importantly, the customized datas, that is the beauty of the technology, right? There is, we can do any kind of customization inside the data. However you wanted the report, you wanted geography-wise, you wanted, say product-wise, or you wanted, cost center-wise, just like that, it comes into. So Of course, this is the major, advantage, I would say.
Okay, good. Uh, Madhu, so what strategy do you employ to foster innovation and agility through the exploration of new technology and business model?
See, as a CFO, the basic funda is we have to see the ROI. We can't get away of that, right? At the same time, many times we have to see what is the outcome of that, not only restricted to ROI. It is like, is it need to have or good to have, right? If it is a good to have, probably I can see whether to put it in the current year or postpone for few years. Or if I have to need to have, again, I have to start looking for whether I should have in the current year or can I postpone or put it in a phased manner so that there will not be kind of a big burden on the company. So this is the first thing I have to look into that. But however, there are many other factors, not only look into the ROI, like recent compliances, so many compliances related to IT, be it be like GST reconciliation, which is again pure financial task. Without IT help, we can't get away that, right? And audit trials and security trials. So these are the few things which mandatorily we have to work with the CIO, not only restricting ourselves to the ROI purely in terms of the monetary values. And second, I work from manufacturing company where we have hell lot of labor. Direct employees are 1,200 and indirect employees are 3,000. You can imagine if it is, if I don't work with the ITM and to automate this labor report or payroll reports and other things, it is impossible for me to pay the salary even after 1 month, right? And so these are the things which even the CFOs are getting understand what is the requirements, what extent we have to go. So that is how we will be looking first, not only look only the pure ROI in terms of the monetary value, see what are the compliances and whether it can be put in a phased manner so that there will not be any big burden on the company, and it can be in different years or few plants in 1 year kind of things. That's how we will be looking into that.
Can you tell me that any of your innovative technical implementation or adoption, right, has given you any advantage over your business or competitors, right, which are being actually taken earlier to them, right? You talk about GST implementation and other things, right, which is a very, very critical and mandate, right? So have you seen that on the implementation of GST, right, quickly into your business area has given a width of your business on top of your competitors?
I'll take the same point of GST. Though the GST reconciliation wise, the input tax credit everyone is started doing, and everyone was they are coming with so many tools. However, before the many of the software developers have come, we started our own internal software along with the consultant and to do the whole reconciliation, and that worked well. And in the meantime, not only the input tax credit, we started looking for e-way bill automation. E-way bill reconciliation automation, as it is not a legal requirement, but it is anticipated. And in fact, once we have done that, so coincidentally we got the assessment requirement in the next year itself. So by the time we are ready, almost close to 90%, then we are able to successfully give to the officer. Otherwise, we would have been in the deep trouble. So these are the few things. And coming to the product wise, I can quote little more examples, like we started looking on the software related to our own product, where to develop, though we are not the first one, but we started our own development so that we can improve to the customer satisfaction on the B2B front also, and give more products rather than only a manufacturer kind of thing. So this will be more advantage from the point of view of the customer.
Good. Yes, sir. Could you elaborate on the importance of cross-functional collaboration between CIOs and CFOs and their teams in driving digital transformation initiatives?
See, there are two C-level functions which has different KPIs. Of course, the leveraging technology, innovation, creativity is always there. But the finance function needs a particular kind of, and it is ever changing and ever evolving. The regulatory space or the reporting space, whether it's internal reporting or whether IFRS or if it is a different country standards gaps that you require and all. So it is very, very important that we have a cross-functional team which probably works on project extensively initially when we bring in new products or new applications. At the same time, all these IT applications need maintenance, enhancements, changes and all. It's a never-ending task. You must be practically be aware that it's a never-ending task. You cannot deploy one application once and forget about it. So you keep on changing, enhancing, new requirements will come. So the question of scalability, adaptability, and the replicating certain things in different modules across the company is your priority, meaning CIO's priority. At the same time, meeting the cross-functional requirements, for example, let us say we have AP, payroll, receivable. Each department has its own input and output requirements. For example, receivables wants some dunning letters or aging reports and things like that. Payable wants to know when the things are due, what is the cash planning required and things like that. So it's all the more important. It's not only the CFO, all his colleagues have to be there in the cross-functional team along with the respective module owners or subject matter experts to continuously improve upon what we already have and also to ensure that if there are some bugs to be fixed and there are enhancements to be done and there are new implementation or new project. For example, my friend Bindu Madhav was saying about the GST. GST reconciliation, there are many things and like for example, there are over and above ERP, there are IT systems which has come from like ClearTax or many other vendors are available. So we have to be, what you can say, probably CIOs look at how do we integrate into the existing ERP or how do we integrate with the existing database systems or the kind of a cloud we have and those kind of technical aspects. Whereas the utility aspects and also implementation has to be done by a cross-functional team, and it's very, very important that companies have sufficient bandwidth, because I have seen a failure of ERP implementations for lacking the bandwidth, because you need somebody, the regular employees are busy always with their work. Either you have to make them free 2 to 3 hours per day to spend during the project time and also have some weekly reviews and kind of a thing for those kind of, I'm extremely sorry, those kind of reviews and things like that. If you don't have a proper cross-functional team and bandwidth, it will be very difficult for the size and complexity of the today's business to function.
How does communication holds here when you are working with a cross-functional team?
See, it's
how do you handle that?
See, it's very important that the initial documents for implementation has to be signed off by the cross-functional teams and respective business process owners. That is very, very important, and a copy of that should be available with both the CIO office and the CFO's office for the respective colleagues to be used. And at the same time that we should have an internal proper communication path so that whenever we meet, we have a historical and record as to what changes and why we did those changes and what are the enhancements that you're doing and what kind of changes that we made. That's very, very important, and communication is always there between the CIO team and the user team. Probably Shreyas wants to add something.
Yes.
I think in the new way of working, in the agile way of working, where we have sprints and discussions, so there's a scrum master where there is no hierarchy, right? So one meeting, finance guy could be the lead, the other meeting, the IT guy could be a lead, and so on. I think the communication here is very, very clear. All of us have a role to play, and all of us have to be kept included in the communication in whatever is happening, whatever changes are happening, not approved, approved, whatever, so that everybody is on board and can contribute to it, and they can have good discussions, disagree with one another vehemently, no problem, but at the end arrive at the same conclusion and take that forward. So that even the management or anybody, all other stakeholders get a good feeling that everything is under control by these teams that are working together, so that there is no difference of opinion which pops out in a product, because you would not want a rollout to go wrong. And I have had that experience. It did go wrong, and we had to do a lot of things to correct it. So to avoid such things, I think the regular meetings, especially with the agile way of working, with a new order in place, I think, which works very fantastically in my opinion. I think communication holds a big key in how these projects roll out.
Yeah, especially the best practices are that when you are actually rolling out a big technical project or the digital disruptions, right? People are creating a war room, right? Wherein they are putting the entire cross-functional people and the technical people, right? Sit together and they actually coincide to a decision making, right? Which is very quick, easier, and effective also, right? Rather than actually banging behind.
No, along with war rooms, you will also store all the minutes of the meeting, accessible common place, and also what Shreyas said initially is the single truth. We always have the financials with limited access in a SharePoint, where it's a single truth available across the company at different levels. Who have permission can access and see. Of course, minutes of the meetings also where common interests are there across the departments is stored in a common drive which have access to these things. Of course, war room is a very much when big projects are required.
Good. Now coming to Shreyas, you see in what way does your organization, I'm very specific to your organization itself, right? Invest in continuous learning and development, right? That is a very a big component for successful of any of the digital mastery, right? To empower the team to drive innovation and fit to technological achievements.
We have LinkedIn Learning as a subscription that has been made available to all employees. That is one. And then we have an annual budget per employee that is available on approval with their managers, of course, so that they can pick a course of their relevant choice, and they can take it up and go ahead, complete it, get the certification, and get reimbursed for the cost as well. It adds value both to the gentleman who's or the lady who is doing the course, but also to the organization, because we have skilled employees. And in this digital age where a lot of skills are new and needs to be learned, unless we upskill our teams and make them ready for the new challenges that are coming up in the digital age, we are ourselves, not gearing up for something that is very essential and going to come up in the day and age. So we give a lot of importance to upskilling especially, and for those roles, because I am not a believer, I am okay with new technology that is being rolled out, which will make some roles redundant, but I am not a believer that those people need to be let go. I believe that it is our job as leaders to upskill them so that they can be given other tasks to do and that they can be a part of the organization's growth.
And how do you look at this particular investment benefit your organization in long term?
I mean, this is a very...
You said that to retaining them, right?
It's a very old joke, right? Saying the CFO goes to the CIO and says, look, you have said that digitally all these guys need to be trained. What if they leave after training? So the CIO says back, right? So say, what if you don't train them and in the long run, Tatas, I believe, have that legacy that people serve long time with Tatas. It's not so common these days, So sure. Invest in those employees to ensure that it pays the company back sooner.
Correct. So it's a big investment, and more bigger return for you.
Absolutely.
Right? Correct. Okay. Bhupen, how do you navigate potential conflicts, right? I will come to a CFO also on this particular topic, or differing priorities, right? Your CFO is telling that, no, I want my ratios first and profitability first, and then you do for your other bottom line services, whatever may be, right? Between the IT and finance department, right, when aligning a strategic objective, I'm very specific, aligning a strategic, uh, correct. So how you actually look at this?
Okay.
How you handle this conflict or the difference of priority?
Yes, difference are there always. But thing is, in this organization, in current organization, being a Japanese organization, so culture is different. Means when they are preparing the budget and then there's those component, that time only that debate happened. So that debate we conclude with the top management, CFO and IT folks, and sometimes if require user department, because those requests coming from the user department. So we conclude all those conflicts then and there. Once it is approved from the board, then no one having the objection, even they come with the question why it is not happened. And then CFO also have to put those questions. It should be done like this quarter, next quarter, or last quarter. So conflict, yes, when we got the request from the user department, then we categorize. It is for patient, it is for internal user, what outcome we are to get it from. So all those if we are putting on the paper, black and white, then CFO also doesn't have much question on that. So we are not keeping like all requirement in like circle. We are keeping as a black and white and then presenting to the board along with CFO. So not much resistance we seen, but in previous organization, yes, we seen those hurdles, and sometimes we said, okay, leave it, we'll take it later. So those things are
So
there.
basically you are working on the agreement, that first you make the agreement and then I will do that. Yeah. You
No,
can.
basically,
How CFO is handling that
see,
one?
see, that's a nice this one to explain. See, we talked about cross-functional collaboration. This is where it will happen, right? As rightly told, we see at the putting the budget level, right? At that time only CIOs and CFOs will sit together, and as a CFO, we get into cost-benefit analysis. What is okay? I'm doing this. How it is benefiting the organization and all those things. And of course, this is properly navigated, gone into, discussed, debated, and finally we'll say yes, this is what we have to do it. Once at that level it is decided and it is closed. Yes, the path is very smooth, is what I feel.
Good. You also want to add?
Yeah, it is not only with the CIO where we'll have tough fight, with, mostly with all the departments. Obviously, they want more budgets for their whether capex or opex, whatever it is. And finance, as a CFO, we have to face that and we have to manage with when the budget is going on.
Having a clear priority matrix where you score things, right? What is important, business investment or back office investment, having a very clear objective priority matrix where all of us score our projects on various criterias allows us to make it very objective and less emotional. So the conflicts are a lot more easily avoided.
No, it is not the question of emotion, right?
That also comes in.
It's a question of demand, right? He is telling that, okay, this 10 reports which is incurred into this particular project is not meeting my requirement, right? So you have to take another 2, right? You do not have budget expansion, you do not have the team expansion, you do not have a technical partner bounding expansion, right? So how you will handle that one? How you make your CFO understanding that, okay, this is what I have, correct? So the theme was this only, right? But yeah, this is a very, very, what you say, obvious in any of this project, right? When you are handling, whether it is technical project related to IT department or some other project of some other function, right? The conflicts are always there, and there is a priorities also, which are always there, and it is very difficult to handle this for a successful implementation of that particular project. Right?
No, conflicts are always there because without conflict, because there are two people now always, so, or multiple peoples. But ultimately, the company's objectives, as somebody said, the emotions are not there to play. Company's objectives and the larger picture of customer-centric approach today, and the vendor and the customer management and those kind of things, and your stakeholder management, and these kind of issues take a front seat than the conflicts and emotions. So you have to resolve carefully the
true.
conflicts.
I think time has end to us. Any question from audience side? Yes.
I would like to address Mr. Shreyas. You talked about the practice of letting the employee upscale themselves and then in turn benefit the organization, right? So is this coupled with any sort of strategy which is related to their career alignment or aspirations when they pick what to upscale on, what to learn, how to grow?
I think it can be made a part of their appraisal cycle, where we also see how they perform, and based on their performance, we also allow budgets or courses to do or things to do. But in general, so while that can be a part of it, we can say, look, you perform well, and this is your for every course that you sign up. Let's say there is IIM courses for certain digitization these days, right? But we say that you have to at least exceed expectations or meet expectations. I mean, set your own threshold. I say, unless you do this, we will not let you sign up for that. So I think that can work well because the employee is motivated to perform, and he also sees the larger picture, saying the company is investing in his future growth as well. This can also be done for horizontal shift in roles. Let's say if a finance guy has to work in the commercial teams, then he takes up a commercial related role and so on. So I think this is an easy win for the organization as well as the employee.
Just quickly add, career succession management, career and companies L&D objectives also plays a very important role. Of course, he used the word loyalty a few minutes back. If you want loyal employees, we need to train them and they have to be contributing.
Right.
So career, succession plan, and also upskilling is always there. So, and companies L&D policy, and definitely we always have the gap, so we need to train
Absolutely. I just wanted to share here with everyone and with the panel here as well. One practice that I've seen related to this, because we were discussing this, there's a practice where I've seen that the employees' natural strengths are analyzed based on some psychometric testing, right? So we sort of look at their strengths, and based on their strengths, we analyze the kind of job they are doing, what are the things that they can upskill on, or maybe they can do better in something different. Like Shreyas was talking about, any employee or any particular person in an organization becomes an asset because he knows a lot of things into the organization that other people would have a learning curve about when they join, right? So, reutilizing them, to do all these things, this is what they are following, right? So they do this evaluation, and based on that, they decide they ask their aspirations, and then based on that, they chart the path of their learning, how they want to do it. So just sharing with everyone, that's my experience I've seen.
That seems like an unsolved problem, right? A lateral hires are always paid more than the existing employees within the company, right? That's the trend, and it's yet to be resolved.
A debatable question, yes.
It all depends that how quickly you roll out that particular project, right?
No,
Right.
you will always have a skill matrix, and the gaps in the skill have to be addressed by training and development.
So if there
No
is
choice.
a big assessment process working into that, which actually assess in different verticals, right? the urgency of that project, right? Building a long-term asset for you, right? And that particular area where the technological disruption happening in your organization. So all this actually making you a comprehensive chart for you, which are actually the basis for deciding all these things, right?
When we talk about appraisals, I mean, it's both CFO as well as CIO concern. Whenever appraisal has to happen, there is an inflation in picture, right? Which is generally around 6%, 7%. So shouldn't the employee's salary, irrespective of their performance, should be baseline with the inflation at least? That means 6 or 7% is given anyway. Now on top of it, the growth metrics we'll see. What is the growth we should give you? Just
See, we can propose only, right? But it is final decision with the
That's what I'm trying to-
CHRO that, okay, how he is actually
See, what happens-
taking it
what
up.
happens,
So
we are
it's
giving you
I think it's a
5%
wrong
hike.
question in this team, right?
What happens?
basically-
We are giving you 5% hike. We are giving you 10% hike, irrespective of the inflation.
No, they also have the metrics for this, right?
If the company beats inflation, then makes sense. If the company is at 3% growth,
See,
then you expect everybody
company doing good or not depends on lot of factor.
No,
Employee has
you
done their job.
cannot grow the growth at the rate at which your company is growing. So where the compensation comes is the affordability, the type of the industry they are in, and what is the percentage of personal cost that we can absorb. Many things are into play. Of course, everybody
Yes.
ultimately have to pay their bills and they have to leave, and there is always inflation catching
So the
up.
baselining has to done. Do you agree?
It's there.
agree.
Yeah, agree.
So a low performer is given zero hike. Let's give an example. So it's inhuman, right?
It's an indicator that
No, but it's inhuman.
Yes.
His salary got reduced. Indirectly, his salary
Gentlemen,
got
we
reduced.
spoke about loyalty. We also have attrition problem also. At the same time, we need to retain, and you have to have market salaries to retain people. At the same time, if he is not performing, we have to show the exit
And
also.
moreover,
which
this discussion will never end. Right?
And we don't want to stand between the lunch and this discussion also.
Okay, thank you. A nice conversation, right? And I think it's a good team that both CFOs and CIOs collaborate and sharing their thoughts into that. Thank you very much.